What's up everyone? Welcome back to my kitchen for another recipe video. I'm Derek from Simnett Nutrition, and today I'm excited to show you this one. I've got a really quick 10-minute pasta to share with you guys, and also an amazing sauce that goes with it. So one of the things I love about this is that it is super high in protein, along with being very quick to make. And the reason it's high in protein is because it has this chickpea, brown rice, and quinoa pasta in there. So I'm sure you guys have been seeing lots of these pulse pastas on the shelves, and you're probably wondering, like, are they really healthy for us? So wait around to the end of the video and I'll let you know. Let's get into it. All right, so first thing you want to do is to get some water boiling for the pasta. So this is the pasta that I'm going to be using here, and this stuff's especially cool because it cooks in like just 4 minutes, which makes this meal super fast. And it's made of chickpea flour, brown rice flour, and organic quinoa flour. So as I mentioned, it's definitely going to be higher in protein than regular pasta. So to make best use of our time and to keep this really quick, while we're waiting for that water to boil, let's get some veggies sauteing in the frying pan. I'm going to start with 3 cloves of garlic. So you just want to chop those up nice and fine and get them into the frying pan. They are flying.
They are slippery.
So next I'm gonna add 2 cups of frozen mixed vegetables. So, you know, you can use any veggies you want. Of course, you could use fresh and chop a whole bunch up, but, you know, in the spirit of like the fastest pasta ever and, you know, just keeping it nice and easy, this is what I'm putting in here. The next thing I'm gonna add is this cauliflower crumble. So I know you can't get this like everywhere in the world, but before I made this video, I actually did look to see and make sure that you can get it in some other places other than Canada, because it is actually a Canadian owned company. And you can get this all over the States. And maybe even in Europe, I don't know. Let me know if you guys see it over there. So about 1 cup of this cauliflower crumble, and of course you could use any veggie crumble for this. And I actually have a recipe on how to make an awesome crumble that was inspired by this. So I'll put a link to it, you know, somewhere up here. You guys can check it out, also in the description box. All right, so this is coming along well, and the water is boiling, so now it's time for the pasta to go in there. Let's start a timer for this because I feel like I'm gonna overcook it again. All right, so now we have 4 minutes to chop up some pepper and some green onion. And then just a quick little green onion cutting hack for you guys. I'm sure you figured this out by now, but if you go in half, then in half again, look how few cuts you have to make. It's so smart. Look at that. Perfect timing. All right, so the pasta should be done. I am gonna check it though, because like 4 minutes seems really quick.
Yeah, it does.
No, I think it needs like another minute or 2, definitely 5. Yeah, it's a little dry. So I wouldn't usually do this with pasta, but because this stuff cooks so quickly, I made this mistake last time. And if you don't kind of like rinse it off or at least cool it down, it keeps cooking and then ends up getting a little bit mushy. So I'm just gonna give it a quick rinse. I know it's not traditional, I'm sorry Italians. But I mean, we've got pasta made of like chickpeas and quinoa right now. I don't think this is too traditional. I love this spiral pasta because you can see how like the cauliflower crumble and everything gets like all stuck in the little, you know, spirals and carries all the flavor. It's so good. All right, so this sauce is just like a variation of the classic Simnett Nutrition tahini dressing. So I'm gonna go through this really quickly. I'm sure you guys have seen it a bunch, but here's some exact measurements for you because I know I don't always provide this. Oh yeah, and I should mention this makes about 4 servings of sauce. So you can use it for the 2 servings of pasta that we're making, and then you're gonna have some to put in the fridge and have for the next day. I always like to do this because you know, you're putting in all this effort, you might as well just make like double the amount so you have double the sauce for double the days. So I'm just starting out with 2/3 of a cup of warm water. I just warmed it up in the kettle, and I find this is the best way to do it because if you put the water in first, then all the tahini doesn't stick to the bottom, and if you use warm water, then it tends to be a little bit easier to mix. And then next, the same amount of tahini. So 50-50 water to tahini, so we're adding 2/3 of a cup of tahini. Now we've got to sweeten it up a little bit because tahini does have a bit of bitterness to it. So I'm going to add about 1/2 tablespoon, maybe 3/4 of a tablespoon of maple syrup. But of course you could substitute this for like a medjool date or any other sweetness if you'd like. Or you can just leave it out if you don't like your sauces to be nicely and perfectly balanced like this. You guys know what's next? 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast. So next you just want to add salt and pepper to taste. So I'm gonna add about a half a teaspoon of salt. And I know that seems like a lot, but remember, we're not eating this all in one go. There's many servings in here. Like I said, there's 4, maybe 5, 6, depending on how much you're using. And then I'll just add about the same amount of pepper. Now let's go for double, so a teaspoon of pepper. Well, it seems like a lot. Now that I put it in there, it'll be okay. So next, you just want to take a whisk, or if you have a date in here, you obviously want to blend it, but I'm just gonna whisk this up. Yo, am I the only one that uses a whisk like this? Like, I don't often see people using one like this, but this is like the best way to use it. It's so good. It's like I'm starting a fire. And then it's always a good idea to taste your sauces before you go and dump them on your food, just in case you need to make any adjustments. So let's try it out. Oh yeah, really good. So good. This is gonna be amazing. So you can see right now, this sauce is like such a beautiful consistency. It sticks to the spoon nicely. It's so smooth. It is very good. But you'll notice that it tends to thicken up over time, especially after you put it in the fridge. So if that happens, just add a little bit more water to it, mix it up. And if it waters it down too much, you can always add some more like seasoning to it. But I don't find that's the case. I just find I need to add just a tiny bit of like warm water or something, mix it up, and good to go. So it's pretty much ready to go right now. If you want, you could like chop up some kale or throw some spinach or something in here as well, and it would wilt down, be really easy to eat. And then you could also add the sauce right now if you want to. However, I'm gonna hold off on it and just kind of like drizzle it on top once I plate it. All right, so let's bring Crystal on in here. She is the resident taste tester. She's been loving this pasta as well, and I figured, everyone always likes seeing her on the channel, and she also likes to eat, so it's a win for you and a win for everybody. Yeah, let's try this out, and act like you haven't been eating this for like, almost every day for the last like week and a half.
Okay.
I just can't stop making it.
It's so good every time.
Yeah.
Every time, it's just so good.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sauce. Though that sauce could be, you can put that sauce on anything, but like, wow. The tahini dressing is like really what like ties all this together.
No, it is. It's so good.
You wouldn't really think that that kind of dressing would go good on a pasta, because usually you think of like a red sauce for a pasta.
Yeah.
But, wow.
Or like Alfredo.
Wow. And it was so easy. Like this honestly, this takes like less than 10 minutes.
And
so
I'm all sauced up. You got lots of sauce, and
We've got, well, you can't really see, but we've got, about a cup left. So definitely sauce for the next few days.
it's crazy to me that this is chickpea pasta.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, there was no other option. Like you just got wheat pasta. There wasn't any of this like legume pasta out there.
No, it was like
so good.
whole wheat pasta, and then there's like some gluten-free pastas started to come out, and they were like just straight like mush. If you cooked them for like 1 millisecond over time. So that actually leads us into the question that I asked earlier. Like, is this stuff actually healthy for us? Yeah, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that.
Well, while you do that,
Yeah.
that sounds great, but I don't know if I need to be here eating in front of everyone while you do that. I'm gonna go hang out with the cats, eat this. Thank you for dinner.
All right, enjoy.
Bye.
So yes, I definitely say that these like pulse pastas, the ones that are made out of like chickpeas, beans, different legumes, whatever, are definitely healthy foods. And they are a processed food, but they're not like an extremely, highly overly processed food. It's definitely a fairly minimally processed food. And the way that they make this is just by using like bean flour. So they use chickpea flour or like, quinoa flour, as you saw in this one. And this results in them having like 3 to 4 times the amount of protein that's in like normal wheat pasta. So that's pretty amazing, especially if you're trying to, make some gains in the gym. Everyone's always looking for extra protein these days. So another cool thing about this pasta is it is just naturally gluten-free, as long as it's made in a gluten-free facility, of course. You guys know that, you have to have that sort of certification for celiacs or whatever, but, naturally it's just gonna be a gluten-free pasta. The gluten-free pastas of the past were, not that great for us, not that great tasting either. And the problem with them was just they were made from extremely refined, like rice flours and things like that, with very little fiber. So they ended up having a very high glycemic index, meaning they spike your blood sugar. So these pastas are actually quite low on the glycemic index, as you can see mentioned here in this paper. So they're great choices for everybody, but especially nice choices for people that have problem with blood sugar imbalances, things like diabetes, and there's definitely other conditions that affect blood sugar. It also mentions that it's a great source of polyphenols and flavonoids. So we know that these act as antioxidants to help fight free radicals in our body, and it also helps to like lower inflammation as well, which is really cool. One thing that people often worry about with beans, lentils, you know, different pulses and legumes is the anti-nutrient content in them. They worry that it's going to bind to all the vitamins and the minerals and steal all that nutrition and not allow your body to absorb any of it. However, that is just not the case. As you can see here, demonstrated in this paper, the processing and cooking of the pastas was enough to dramatically reduce the anti-nutrient factors. Oh, but wait, it says here that it didn't reduce the phytic acid content of the food. Well, don't worry, our bodies are smart. It's got that figured out. So it turns out the more phytate-rich food we have in our diet, the better our microbiome becomes at digesting it. So it's really not a worry. As long as you are eating these foods, you're feeding the microbes the right kind of stuff to, you know, kind of proliferate and grow to handle it. So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys are having a great day, and definitely like the video if you enjoyed this recipe. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me and you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. Let me know if you learned something in this video or what you thought of the pasta recipe, and I'm always open to suggestions for upcoming video ideas. Hope you guys are having a good day. I'll see you soon. Oh! Ow, 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 come on, baby. All right, you wanna try?
Oh, she'll eat it. Oh man.
All the flavor off of it.
You like it.
You like anything.
Not so much, your sister's not interested. Oh. But she's like, yo.
Oh my god, what is going on here? Guys, I'm trying to make a freaking YouTube video.